right. And we are live. Amazing. So good to have you here, Shane. Um, to everyone who is joining, hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to our first Learner Limelight session. I'm Maya from the NextWork team, and today we have someone really special whose journey truly embodies what we're all about: growth, resilience, perseverance, and taking the unexpected path in tech. If you're new here, our community is global. We've got learners from all around the world, job seekers, and future tech leaders in cloud, cybersecurity, AI. And today you will hear a very powerful story that will help you see a possibility even when the road feels tough. Please welcome Shane Brown. Shane's gone from electrician to cybersecurity champion, and now he is inspiring learners from all over the world. Shane, thank you so much for um, being here today. It means a lot. It means a lot. Would
Thank
you like
you.
to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, sure. First off, I am in Arizona. I am a Native American. I'm the part of the tribe Dene. To honor my people, I like to introduce myself in my language. So, here it goes. Yate, she Shane Brown, Unishie, Twisto ni Nishle, Deklani Bashishin, Ashihe Dashiche, Glashe Dashinele, and that's how I am recognized as a Dene man. So, just introducing myself. So next work. This is pretty interesting. When Maya told me this idea, and I thought it was really cool, I didn't realize I was going to be the first one that she chose. So very, very honored and very surprised too, because my story is quite interesting. It's not. It's almost something out of a movie, kind of, if you think about it. But early on, I've always had this idea of being in tech, some way, somehow. Growing up watching movies and watching hackers and just stuff like that. Just that lifestyle just kind of it just touched me. It intrigued me to know what they were typing on that computer. That screen and whatnot. What's all that? It'd be so cool to know what that's about. And just growing up with that kind of. I've always wanted some way or somehow, like I said, I was going to be in tech. So that bug touched me pretty early on. And it's funny, once I graduated from my cybersecurity program, my brother used to say that he was like, you're always watching these hacker movies, and now you're going to be able to do it. And it doesn't. You have to take a step back sometimes and realize what you've done before you actually see it, and take recognition and just be appreciative and humble at your travel, your journey, and how far it took you to get there. So this is just another one of those moments where it's because of Maya and NextWork. I am sitting here kind of blown away, and I'm talking to fellow techs, fellow students, and we're all on that grind right now, trying to find that perfect job we want, that dream job, or even just learning something new and stuff like that. So I'm all about that. And basically, I went through all that, and to start off early on, high school, I think I did really good in my math and science classes. So that was kind of something that I always gravitated towards, things that make you think, that make you want to build, make you want to break things. There's so many learning experiences you can have with that, as a kid, I don't know if I'm the only one, but if you use a spoon to dig in the ground and make you little roads for your little toy cars and stuff like that, that's a little bit of engineering right there that we don't realize that we are prone to do, as we didn't know we have that thought process in our head sometimes to to see things in that sense. So a lot of times when I do stuff, I don't. I think anyone that's in tech, or even just anyone really, when they love doing something and they're focused in and locked in, they don't ever take that time to just stop and just kind of look at what you're doing and realize that, wow, I'm doing what I said I was wanting to do years ago. I'm doing something that I never thought I would ever dream of doing, because my career was in, well, was starting at first. I wanted to be a rock star. Come out of high school, I was in a metal rock band, and got that bug early. Got the creativity going. Kind of how to kind of put myself out there. You gotta create something, work with a group as a team, write out the songs, write the music together, and then present it to people. People that might not like it, they might like it, they might be inspired by it. There's all these different things. So I think that part of it molded me into more of taking my chances and taking my chance on something that, I think at some point somebody, we want to be rock stars, movie stars, every now and then. That's there. So I went for it, had fun with it, but then my role changed and I became a father, which was, oh, a huge blessing. I ended up with 4 beautiful kids, and that in itself right there too taught me about, just learning how to just enjoy your life and take in the beauty of it. Because now that I'm looking back and remembering my kids when they were small to now how they're adults, they're doing their own thing now. It's so crazy how time flies. So in retrospect, when you think back to those things, you realize you're taking these steps and it's getting you better for the next thing. If that next thing doesn't quite reach where you're going, then you just do something else. Keep going, keep doing this and doing that. So when I was in high school, out of high school, after the band stuff, and I became dad, I basically went into electrical. Thanks to my brother, he was a huge he was one of the best electricians I known. Well, he's probably gonna get mad at me about this, but I say I know him because in the beginning he was my teacher. He's the one that taught me all that, and I had an uncle who was an electrician out here on the reservation as well too. So that just being a real bad A, a real macho electrician, just that mantra, that swagger that you have, knowing that you mess with something like electricity every day, something that can hurt you, kill you, but you mess with it every day, and you learn how to mold it. You know, running the wires in a certain way, running into systems. And then sometimes you have to do those things live. And just learning those things. And I did that for about 20 years. And within that time period, I had gone to school for, first, I wanted to get into video game design. It was a lot of more on the draw. It's funny, now that I say this, more on the art side of things for me. I wanted to get more on the programming side of things. So I wasn't getting there fast enough. So I was like, okay, that wasn't for me. So I took a step back from that. And then I ended up taking an online course for networking. I was like, maybe network engineer might be it, because I was building data centers as an electrician and providing power for, server rooms and trying to keep things cool and, going all that stuff, just going about learning how electricity comes from the power plants down the line all the way down to the building, being transformed into the 120 277 voltage to run everything else. And then from there, even going smaller, breaking it down to 24 volts and everything even smaller, all the way down to how we power our computers up. To understand that kind of system, it was crazy. So I learned how to deal with the big stuff, the dangerous stuff, all the way down to the mid stuff, and then breaking it down and learning how programs, how they talk to each other and stuff like that. And then again, networking, I didn't like it. It was not for me. It wasn't grabbing my attention the way it should have. Yeah, it did. It was. I don't know. I think because I had gone to school and they were pushing networking, but so just to round it off. So after that, I was just basically. we'll get back to that networking part, so that way, let me close this
Shane,
off.
one
So
second. I'm just gonna
yeah.
ask you to pause there. I know there's a lot of people who just joined, and I just want to give a quick recap
Oh.
of the story you've shared so far. Shane is sharing his story of how he went from the early interest in tech to wanting to join a rock band and doing that. Then how fatherhood found him, and then going into a role as an electrician for like 20 years, and then now and now he's at the point where he's talking about his looking at more of the network side of things. And we've got some really cool comments in there, and Sean is getting ahead of the story and saying from rock band to IT. But let's keep listening to Shane. So yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, so I always, like I was saying, I've always wanted to get into tech some way somehow. So my first dab was in video game design. Didn't quite fit there, and then I was doing the network engineer. I was studying how to do those things, and it was there. The interest was there, but it didn't. You know how when you get like you see a steak sandwich or something that looks really good, and you want to eat it. You've been thinking about eating that thing for a while, and then when you do take a bite of it, it's like, huh, it wasn't as good as I expected. It's kind of like that experience for me when I was going to the networking side of the tech. So, um, I was like, okay, maybe an electrical engineer. Maybe that's something I could do. Maybe that's something I could fall under. So, around this point, I was probably just about 18, 19 years into my electrical, and um, I was traveling the country, working out East Coast, West Coast. It was a good job, but it was taking me away from being around my kids and stuff like that. So that was something that kind of kind of put a brakes on what I was progressing to do, which was do all these different things. And due to my own what I was dealing with at the time and how everything went, I kind of felt like I wasn't being challenged. I wasn't learning anything new. I was going to work every day and I was doing the same things. And I wasn't even in the field necessarily anymore. I was just more kind of the guy that walked around, made sure the crew was doing good. I was managing the guys and I was making sure that everything was inspected, quality and control was done, and everything was safed off, and just all these different fundamental things that goes on a construction site. So it just got to the point to where I I was dealing with stuff from home and everything. It just kind of came crashing down on me. I just burnt out, and I basically actually wound up homeless there for a little bit, for like maybe 7 months, I think. It's that time of my life. It's so blurry that I can't tell you exactly how long I was stuck in that situation. My mindset was, I'm done. I give up. It's over. No one cares. It's done. Just leave me here. That kind of mentality. Reaching that point and feeling that, it's like going down a dark hallway and you feel that wall. You feel it, and you're at the end of it and you don't know what to do next, and it's dark and you're trying to figure things out. You're trying to And for me, my daughter was actually the one that gave me a call and told me, you need to shape up, be a man, be a dad, be this. And that really struck me, because my daughter had never ever talked to me like that before. She just said, I don't want to feel like I lost my dad this way, and everything else. And it really got me right here. And then finally I said, okay, I'm coming home. So came back to Arizona with the help of my my daughter working like crazy hours. She was just working at I believe it was a Starbucks at the time. She just worked just to pay for my gas home, basically. So she really wanted me home, and that really that was it for me, because I can think back to those times, and I think about that moment when I said I'm done. You can feel that. You can really feel that in your soul, your spirit, your head, your brain, everything. And when I thought that's when she came, basically crashing through and told me, don't do it. You're good. Come home. It's okay. Come home. So I did. Uh, the family got together and helped me out with all that. And basically, I had to recover. I had to heal mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. I had to rebuild myself from the ground up to get back up and out of this hole that I was in. And there's no one's fault but my own. I dug myself that hole. So it was just one thing after another, and then I started realizing I can do things around the house again. I can help my mom out. I can help my aunts out. I can help my family out around here. I started doing this, no work and not really going to school. Nothing on my plate. Not even the future was on my mind. My mentality was get better, get better.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, my kids came out to visit me, and it was so needed. And after that, after I saw my kids, that's when I knew it's time. It's time to get going, Shane. It's time to do something. What have you always wanted to do? And that's where my journey to recovery and to where the most amazing part of my life, and it's happened within a span of about 2 years now. So there was enough credits to finish up everything else. So I went and I joined a cybersecurity program through Arizona State University. And I was so scared to going back to school. I'm like, I'm in my 40s. How am I supposed to compete with these 20-year-olds? These guys are smart, they're sharp, they're this or that. But then I was telling myself, I go, why that kind of mentality? Why should you have that mentality? You deserve every right to be where you're at and learn what you want to learn.
Mm.
The only person, there's people that have a lot of support. They have family and everything else like that. They say, go do it, go do it. You're good. You can do this. You can do that. You can do this. We believe in you. You can have that full support, but also that person will not do anything sometimes. So overall, it's you yourself as a person, as a human being, what you want for yourself, basically. So I came to that realization. I mean, people found that out at a younger age. Kudos to you, because it took me about 40 years to figure that out. I don't need all that. It's up to me to do this. So I went and I studied so hard. And the older you get, it does get a little difficult to retain stuff. So I had to do my homework a couple times just to make sure and test everything out. And you know, and even then, I wasn't still sure where I wanted to be with my tech career. So our instructor decided to tell us to basically our assignment was to unload a Docker, and we got to customize this website. And in this website, in the database, we have to hack into it. There's some clues, and there's scavenger, basically a capture the flag type deal. And oh my god, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, I love this. I love doing this. And it was just basically it. I had so much fun. And within that course, that time, I learned about the stacks, the MERN stack, and then learning how websites are built, how databases are done. And I realized that a lot of that stuff I had learned in my networking and the classes and the programming, it was still here. Surprisingly, it was still right here. So when I'm going through this, I was like, oh, that's what that's about. That's why that port works. That's why this works. That's how computers, you know, it just to gravitate and grasp that finally. You're like, whoa, okay, this is cool. So I'm basically a kid again, and I'm enjoying all this. And I'm hacking. I'm learning how to do this, and on the side, I'm doing my own. Because my teacher said learn Python. Python's a big one, especially if you got to develop scripts. You got to develop this. You got to so full on. I learned how to do HTML obviously and CSS and JavaScript, and then start getting into uh oh crap, now I'm blanking here. Uh, Tailwind. There was so much. React. Sorry, React. React. Started learning how to do React, and then Mongo, and then all these different things, and it was just coming at once. But the thing about that was that it was just coming all over the place. It wasn't very structured. And then I believe it was a TikTok. I saw a TikTok, and it was NextWork. I was like, oh crap, that's pretty cool. So I seen it a few times, and I was like, they were funny, but they're straight to the point. This is what this is all about. And I started doing the free stuff first, and I gravitated towards the security portion of it. And I believe there was only one that was free at the time when I did that for the security portion. So I was like, okay, and then I got that, and then I graduated from Arizona State, and then I was still doing NextWork, and I basically just when you're in cybersecurity, I'm pretty sure there's a lot in the field elsewhere too, but the only one I really do know is cybersecurity right now. When you do a pen testing, when you do a report, blue team, red, white team, whatever team you're on, there's a lot of documentation. So that's honestly that's what got me hooked with NextWork was how the documentation was pretty much set up and done. It just looked so good and clean and awesome. I was like, oh wow, that's cool, and I was hooked. I was hooked with NextWork on that, and I started doing the security side of things first, and paid for a
Do you
subscription.
remember which one was your favorite security project?
Yes, it's the oof, I don't remember the title of it, but it's the hacker one. It's where you have the malware, and then you can put it in there, and then your man, I feel silly now.
The Call of
Um,
Duty.
yeah, there you go, yeah. So you
That
set up
was
all
in
your
the game.
protocols, and yeah. And the funny thing was about that one was is that my laptop is really secure. So even that fake um that imitation of a malware, my computer was losing it. It would not let me do it. I would have to I had to do a couple of things settings to undo it so that way I can finish that project. I think I told you that one. And yeah, that was fun. I liked it a lot, and that one really got the juices flowing for me on that one too. And that's the thing about NextWorks projects too is that they're a lot of fun, and it's just it's challenging. And if you're new to tech, brand spanking new, it's something to do. It's something to learn. I always encourage people to keep learning. Don't stop. If you get to a certain point, don't get stagnant. Keep learning. You'll feel young. You'll feel sharp. It's just so good for you.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something that is kind of so much things are backing this vision, this machine that's NextWork. You have very good people who have designed it, and you have an owner that believes in the vision as well, and then you have people that are supporting you one on one, which Maya was a big part of my growth as well in the tech field. She really helped me out and opened me up to a lot of different things. So the I it's just I can't help but smile anytime I think about what I've learned through NextWork and how it's helped me out. So overall, the documentation was huge, huge. If you guys like writing paperwork and stuff like that, then But for me, I'm not a big fan. I really am not. So when it came to that documentation showing up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. So
Yeah, it's auto
and then
generated, right? You don't have to worry about it.
yeah, it's not only that, it's just it's formatted so nice. I mean, I even someone that's not very technical can understand it. That's the thing that I took away from that. So I was like, employers, the people that don't understand tech, they can read this. They can actually see this documentation as, whoa, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And the screenshots and all that stuff that you do, in the beginning, I was just nonchalantly just doing whatever on my screenshots. But I don't know if you guys noticed, if you guys have been with NextWork for a while, you start to go back and relook at your documentation. You realize that, oh man, that screenshot was crap. Let me redo that one. It's cool to do that sometimes. Go
Maybe
back, redo your
there's a question
documentation.
for you.
Yeah,
Natasha asked, do you think about the documentation as a step-by-step guide, or is it like the final thing that you show to people?
that's a very good question. I think in hindsight, now that I know why that documentation's there, I think it would be a good step by step guide and everything else like that. But before I knew that you got that documentation to end, and I guess it sums up the steps.
Mm.
That it's just more of something at the end, but it coincides together. It's very well balanced. That it's not like a catch-22. You lose something on this side, but gain something on this side. It's very well balanced. That's what I liked about it as well. So thanks for who gave that question. That was a good question.
Natasha, Nat.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Natasha. Yeah, that got me thinking there for a second. You saw me get all quiet, thinking, like, hang on.
Yeah, but I know you
Oh,
always talk about how that documentation, like you always, I mean, from the time I remember, you would always say that, documentation is key, but it's such it can be sometimes a boring task. And with doing a NextWork project, you are not only doing that step by step guided piece of it, filling out the tasks as you complete the project, but you get this documentation at the end, which I will let you continue in the story, which was very helpful for you.
yeah, it was very very helpful. So, where was I at? So I'm doing next work and stuff like that, and finally after rebuilding myself a bit, I got my my mind correct. I'm learning new things, and I'm just hungry, hungry to learn. Pick up this, pick up that, and I realized that I'm ready to go back to work, and you know, it's graduating from Arizona State University with those kind of credentials and all these, just all these different things, and then you get so overwhelmed with the fact that you go to LinkedIn or you go to the want ads or even just looking for work, and there's a lot of people looking for work in tech, and it was crazy. So you think you're taught as a young person that you go to school and then you're going to get the job right after that. But the way times are now, the way things are nowadays, that's not always a guarantee. It's nice, but it's not always a guarantee. So that's where, for one thing too, aside with next work, it teaches you and keeps you sharp, keeps you focused on the job. Learn this, learn that. There's probably something you're going to do in the field. You never know. It's always good to be very well rounded. So with that, I went to a temp agency. I was like, I need to start making some money. I need to help my moms. I need to help everyone out here. I needed to make some money. So I went and I went to a temp agency, and I gave my documentation, gave all the paperwork for everything, but they didn't have a need for somebody in cybersecurity or somebody in tech or anything with computers. What they had available was custodial work. So I was like, okay, um, it's a whole new me. I'm building myself back up again. So let's do it. It'd be nice to just kind of get my hands dirty and get out there, get back to work again. So the funny thing is that the crew I was working with at the custodian over here at the college that I ended up getting placed at, they were all great people. They love their job. I mean, they're just having the time of their life. I mean, if you go to a job and you actually enjoy being there, it's not even a job really. Those guys had so much fun with me. We'd be joking around, kidding around, but solid guys got the job done and stuff like that. So it was always good. So the first day, I was just getting oriented, going throughout the whole campus, what section I'm going to be cleaning up, learning how to they have a special key for the toilet paper and restroom, especially at facilities, because they don't want people stealing toilet paper. So you got to have a special key. And I always thought that, man, you gotta be real cool to have that key. That's what I used to tell the guys. So I guess I'm not cool enough to have that key yet. I would tell them that, and they just laugh at me. So, well, anyways, that was the first day. Second day, they take me over to a building called it's an NHA building. It's in my hometown. It's the tallest building here. So I ended up I was cleaning the first floor, going through the classrooms and stuff, and learning how certain teachers like their stuff, how they want it clean and stuff like that. So I was learning that. Going to the second floor, and then there's different departments in there. So the guy that's teaching me how to do things, he leads me over into the marketing department. So I go in there, and he goes, "There's two trash cans. One's over here, one's over here." And there's a guy sitting behind a desk over there, and he's typing away. And I guess my lead knew him, the marketing manager, and all that. So they ended up chatting up, and I'm over here. I'm doing what I need to do here. I'm cleaning and stuff like that. And over here, him saying that, asking the guy, he's like, "Do you know anyone that does websites? Do you know anyone that knows how to knows how to do stuff on websites? He wasn't very technical. He just said website. So and then it so happened that I was talking to my lead, that I have my portfolio website, I have this website, I have that website. I just started building websites like crazy there for a bit. So, and then he goes, "Yeah, that guy right there is Shane." And then I met him, and he was a marketing manager. And then he asked me, he goes, "You know how to do websites?" I go, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I go, I can build it from ground up scratch. Depends on what stack you want and everything else like that. And I was like, wait, here's my portfolio website. So I sent him my portfolio website, which had my NextWork documentation on there, and it has my certifications for all the techs that I've done, and it's basically verified. Everything's verified on there. So, and then he looked. He was going through my phone. He had my phone for a second there, so he was going through, and then he went over to the NextWork stuff. He just saw cloud. He goes, "I was always wondering how cloud works, And then he saw AI, and then he was going through. He looked at documentation. He goes, "So that's wow. So you have to teach AI how to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "Wow, that's really cool." And he goes, "What? So how long are you working here for?" So I was contracted out till October through the custodial. And then he goes, "Oh, okay. He goes, I want you part of this team. I need a hand with this website. It's behind. It's there's a lot of updates that come through, and we don't really know how to put them up, fix it, do all these different things. And they have the people who are hosting the website are overseas. So he was like, we need somebody here on site to help us with all these different things. So I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, yeah, sure. I was like, do I need to? And he goes, "Who's your boss?" He goes, and I told him who my boss was. He goes, "Okay." He goes, just he goes, "Give me your phone number." I gave him my phone number, and he goes, "I'll talk to your boss and see about getting you over here next week." So I was like, okay. So I started. That was Tuesday.
This is like
We'll
day
see you
two
next
of
week.
training under
Yeah,
NextWork, right? Okay.
yeah. So I ended up finishing up the job, cleaning the building, and I was like, I'm high on life, just happy that I could possibly be getting this. And the thing is, my mentality going in was that, well, if I went to this college, I knew I was going to either work in the NOC, the Network Operations Center, which they have over there, or just basically the IT department, fixing computers and stuff. I wanted to get my name through there in a sense. I had a plan to do it in the beginning, but how fast it happened was so amazing. Literally, I go to the local store and I'm getting myself a sandwich and gassing out a vehicle, and then my phone hits me. Boom, bing, report here tomorrow morning at the marketing department. Are you ready? And everything else. I was like, holy cow! I was like, whoa, whoa, no way, no way. I was just so stoked and so happy. And it's funny too because I told my moms and my mom and my aunt and stuff that they said they knew it was going to happen like that for me. They said I'm pretty smart and I can do things. So I was like, holy cow! So they basically from there I was doing the NextWork projects and stuff like that, and then so the website is all WordPress,
Mm.
Elementor, total different ecosystem. So when I say be adaptable in this field, yes, that's the one thing I would say is a huge thing you got to be able to do. Because I know it's easier to, just drag, drop, do your thing, but it's like you can totally code that in. You can do it this way, but you know, with the way their policies are with that tech agency that's hosting the website, they don't want me really doing too much coding. So I was like, okay, so I was basically temporarily working there for a bit, and then just recently, I got um, I got my permanent status. So I became a web developer, permanent web developer over there, and it's just been ongoing with that. And I was just thinking it was going to be a temporary thing, and I thought they weren't going to put me on permanent, but they did. So, but at the time that I was looking through, I was still looking for work as I was a temp, and I was still making that money. And then still on ads, cybersecurity analysts need this, need that, software engineer, you need this, you need that, and everything that I saw and all that right there, all those paperwork and everything that was written, it was experience.
Mm. Mm.
You can
That's
graduate with a bachelor's in software engineering, web development, or whatever. But as soon as you get out, you got to have 2, 3, 4 years experience. And if you go through a traditional university, all you're taught is in the books, the theory, everything in that sense. So you're not getting experience unless you are lucky enough to get like an internship from a company as soon as you are graduating. Then you can work your way through that. But that we're all not that lucky. So I saw that as an issue. I saw that as a kind of a problem. So I said, I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna start my own company. So
wow.
ask Chat
Okay.
GBT.
So, okay, hold on. So we've joined as a custodian in a local community college. And day two, you get to know that there is an opening, or somebody's asking, hey, do you know somebody who knows web design websites? Do you know how to do design websites? And then you show all your portfolio, your NextWork projects, or the website you've built, and all of these things, and then you get hired, but it's a temp role, and you're the head of website design. And because it's a temporal, you're still looking for other things, looking at cloud security roles, cybersecurity roles, and everything is asking for experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it. Yeah, that's what it boiled down to. And I'm not the only one that sees those. I'm pretty sure people that are listening right now will definitely agree with me that that's what it's like out there. So overall, I said, I'm just going to start my own company. Maybe I can help these new graduates, these new coming onto the field. I'm not. What I'm offering is, maybe a project together, and then maybe we can work together because my company, whew, I had to save quite a bit to get an LLC going for myself, and just to kind of get the proper licenses and the proper just to have everything set up. And it's funny, on the I certified LLC in Arizona, but my area is in on a reservation, Navajo reservation. So I have to do more paperwork for Navajo reservation to recognize me as a company too. So it's a lot, but I'm learning as I go on this one. This is really cool. It's a curve that I'm trying to turn into, and not go off the road. And it's a really good learning experience for me as well. So it's more paperwork, more stuff to look up, more stuff to learn as far as like compliances and learning how the licenses have to do with this, how they can protect you, all these different things. It's a whole business side of it. So it's like, man, I wish I had a team right now to help me with all this, but it is what it is. But it's been fun, and it's been really good. Um, so
And
I,
so
I've
this
had a couple.
LLC, yeah.
So I've had a couple of classmates through ASU, and just some people that I've known down the line that have gone to school. They wanted recommendations. Hey man, can you put me down? Can I put you down as a reference? Like, yeah, sure. So because my company is legitimately a company, I referred the guy, and they saw that, okay, this guy ain't joking. He's legit. Let's hire him on. So, or even, I had one person come up and ask me how to go about doing some. He wanted to do projects of doing his own home lab. So I go, dude, I know how to do that. I've done a few of those. I've done some home labs where I build it up and then I break it. Using virtual machines and stuff like that. Oh, those things are fun. So I showed him how to do that, and I guess he was doing that, and then he goes, "Hey, can I use your reference?" Like, yeah, sure, sure. So this guy got a job in I believe it's Tempe, and all they do is work and build virtual machines, and they do software developments and stuff like that. And he got the job because of my referral. So I was like, "Whoa, this is really working." So it's just one of those things where it's some of it is luck. I think for me, one way or another, I was going to be there doing IT work or doing web design and stuff for that school because I had my foot through the door and I had gone through there cleaning their floors. So if that doesn't tell you how determined I am as a person and how I can keep pushing myself all the way to where I was 3 4 years ago. So it's pretty crazy. To be honest, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, and that's just that's where I think I want to give back to the tech community. I see how NextWork is doing the projects, gaining gaining knowledge by doing, and I love that. That's a great way to learn. And only that you guys are offering the one-on-ones too and then stuff like that, which is very very cool. Especially you got people like Maya calling you and asking you how you doing, you're doing good, and it's always a pleasure talking to her. She's always a firecracker to talk to, so it's always good. And then just to have a community like that, in a sense, it's not as big as it was now, but it's still something that is very very special and dear to me. So a lot of my websites, I post where to learn new stuff. My digital Shadow Cove website is more about job opportunities. Maybe there's a job here, or I share a story of like someone who was a cleaning lady. Now she's like in charge of a cloud sector. These stories I go out and I find. I look for them on Saturdays and Sundays, and I eat up that information.
Mhm.
And I sit here in my screen in my office, either here or at work, and I type it out. And then I run it through um, not Chat GPT, sorry, Claude, to just kind of make sure I don't misspell anything. Is my tone okay? It fixes that up for me. Just punctuality, punctuation and stuff like that. Just to keep it clean. And and then my hacker series are just more. Why not? That's the whole reason why I got into this whole game is because of hackers. Just the Matrix movies. That kind of stuff. Yeah, those are things that you see, and it just kind of that stuck with me for a long time. So yeah, that is just the tip of the iceberg, as they say. That's just basically the beginning of my story, the falling of Shane to the rebirth of Shane. There's a lot of different ways to turn it. And I remember when me and Maya were talking about this, she was, "Are you sure you want to tell that? I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be able, And I understood. I understood the assignment, but also, there's people out there who could be having a hard time, and my story could help them. You never know. And that's kind of where I come with all this. Overall, I'm a very good storyteller. That's a huge strength of mine, and yeah, um, wow. See that
Very
I'm
powerful,
I'm
Shane. So
I'm
powerful. And
having a little moment now.
thank you so much for sharing that story. That whole journey from the interest in tech to following your hobbies and passions and being part of a rock band to joining like finding livelihood for and supporting your family through being an electrician and traveling all around the country, hitting a real low, and experiencing homelessness. That's, oh my goodness, I like that's, if you can come through from that and get to where you are now, which is after like getting a master's in cybersecurity, finding a job in a community college, but also being very humble enough to just take, being so qualified as you are, and to accept a role as a custodian. I think that's also very powerful that's, it speaks something about your willingness to do whatever it takes and to just keep moving, and the need to be there for your family as well. And then from there to getting a full time employment, like a permanent position in the college, and also at the same time starting your own company, having that LLC, believing in yourself, and now creating opportunities for others. It's huge, Shane. This is such a powerful journey, and I'm so grateful that you're sharing the story. As someone who is so involved in the NextWork community, I see how many people struggle getting a job, having doing all the work, doing all the projects, and saying that the job market's hard. I'm not able to get through. They're asking for this and this and this, and this is all I have, or all kinds of challenges. Just yesterday, someone was mentioning that he's going. There's a depression that he's experiencing because of the struggles, and to have you as an example of someone who's been through that, who has experienced all of that, who has seen the lowest of lows, and to share that story. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to open it up to anyone who has questions. I have still more questions. So if you have any questions, just add it in the chat. I know there's a couple of people watching on YouTube as well. So let me know if you have any questions. I will ask Jane. I think it's really, really powerful that you had that one call from your daughter that made, like, I'd say it's like a turning point.
Yes, exactly.
um, it goes to show like how little actions can have such a big impact, and you never know, but you always, um, you listen to the signals and to people who care for you, and you know you got to do something. I really like what you said earlier about, you can have all the support in the world. You have your support from the family and the community, and all that's great, but you got to take action. You got to do it. You are responsible for your journey. You're the hero of your journey, and you got to really, um, act to see that happen. And you might say that it's, a little bit of luck. I just think it's perseverance. Shane, you are just resilient, and I commend you. I have so much respect for you. There's so much comments and love coming in from the chat as well, about how inspiring your journey is, and how you know it's actually also a privilege that NextWork was a part of your journey. Really, that, you found NextWork, we found you, um, and for a little bit of context, we used to have one-on-one calls, on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, right, Shane?
Yeah, it was
And
biweekly.
yeah, and that was like from when he joined NextWork, and was doing projects, and before he took that role as a custodian.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this man is so qualified. He has a master's in cybersecurity. He's got his website. He is so technically proficient, and here he is just taking a role with so much humility. And even Shane, even now to hear you talk about that role, about how people enjoyed that position, how people enjoyed working there, and it was just like, it didn't even feel like a job because people were having fun. You were having fun, you joking around with the key and saying, oh, I have the magical key, I have that special permission, and just enjoying life, and being in the very present moment. It's just so beautiful. Like, I think your story has so many little things that we can learn from. There's so many little lessons that we can take away. And I think everyone is going to take away, something a little different. I'm curious though, Shane, what
Yeah.
made you speak up when you were in that role as a custodian and someone says, "Oh, do you know anyone who does website?" Like, what made you say me? Like what was that thought process like?
I think it was just my time. I think I was searching for an opportunity, a sign of something, I guess you could say. So when I was in that room cleaning that office at that time, and for him to talk to somebody about his needs like that at that exact same time, I gotta grab it. I gotta take it. I gotta say something. Otherwise I'm gonna be like, man, I should have said something. I would have regretted that. But I can honestly say I didn't. I don't regret it now. So it was just, I don't know. I think it was instinctive. It was just too powerful of a moment for me to pass up. So I was like, okay, I gotta say something. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's a question in the chat. A lot of great
okay.
comments, by the way, Shane. Sean in the audience says, "Mad respect, especially I love your intro and how you introduce yourself in your tribal language." And keep
Mm.
those articles coming. Oh my goodness. Have you guys seen Shane's articles in the tech news? He's always posting, the Inspire to Hire series, and, the Hacker series.
Yeah, hacker series. Yeah.
Um, he both inspires you, but also keeps you in check, gives you a little bit of paranoia and like a little bit of like, hey, take care of yourself. Protect your data. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
And Sean asks, I gotta ask, what kind of rock band?
We were at that time it was I guess it was called new metal. And it's not new metal anymore, but it was new metal back then. It was a little bit of a rap. I don't know. We were just kind of everything. It was metal, rap, kind of, and then sometimes we practice and we do country music. It was just kind of it was just it was just a group of friends just jamming together and writing music, and I think that was one thing that I just just the dynamics amongst us. So yeah, it was just new metal, I guess.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I've had the great fortune of listening to Shane perform. So I did ask him if he wanted to perform, but I think that's going to be for another time. We'll have an exclusive Shane performance, maybe.
I forgot what the deal was, but I nonchalantly said, "Okay, I'll throw a concert on something." It was kind of like a bet, kind of like a little thing between us, and then I guess I either lost or did something that panned through, and I missed. Oh, no, it was having to do projects, and I said I was going to do all of them. I was going to finish all of them up, and I was not able to because I got so caught up with work and everything else. So I was like, oh man, I owe her a concert now. So one of those little, I showed up and I just sang and played the guitar. And first time I did that for years. It's been years. And that was the first time I did that. And it's funny because that inspired me to kind of wake up that creative side of me. I had that version of me buried for a long time. So I've been writing, and that's a lot of where my writing comes from too, is my creativity to read the news articles, read what I see, and not everyone wants to read the gibberish, all that stuff in the news form. So like, you know what? Let me just break it down and let me change it up for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, so that, and then also the inspire to hire. One time, me and Maya were chatting and we were talking about how I think it was not too long after I had hired on over here at the college, and she was talking about how some students are having a bit of a hard time because they're doing the projects, they're very well qualified, they're doing this, they're doing that, but they're still not landing that job. So I was like, they need some inspiration. And it just kind of hit off from there. So, and then I started digging around for stories of people that started out in the trenches, and then they just made it to where they had to get to, living that dream job and stuff like that, and doing what they love, and that's tech. So, and the thing is that I try to do these stories not in a sense just specifically for tech. It's just it has to deal with just the inspirational stories of resilience. We all have our bad days. We're all gonna have something that's going to challenge us. There's always going to be something there that's going to stop us from doing what we want to do. Now, there's only ways, so many ways, there's so many movies and quotes you can use and stuff like that that's going to inspire you to do whatever. But the thing is that it's always on you. How much do you want it? How much do you love it? And basically, it comes right down to how much do you need it? If you need something, you will do everything you can to get it. So, if you're kind of in the middle there somewhere, you're barely dropping into tech and you don't know. I've seen I read the comments sometimes, there's some students there that are like, what's my roadmap for this? How can I do this? And I think there's for me, in cybersecurity, there's so many avenues to go down. So when I say cybersecurity, people think it's just I'm hacking and that's it, and I'm catching bad guys and stuff like that. That's not the case. Cybersecurity is just so many different things. You have web development security you got to do, and then you have the back end security you got to do, and then you have pen testing. You have the blue teams. You got so many different aspects. That's what I love about the cybersecurity. It's not only just about hacking, but it's also just maintaining and protecting things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think a lot of reasons why I drawn to it too is that I don't know if there's any cybersecurity people here listening in now, but one of my favorite all-time ethical hackers. He's the number one hacker in the world right now. His name is Ryan Montgomery, and he is a superstar. And he is something that I kind of gravitate, hone in on how he does his work. He's a pen tester, and he does it to protect children for like online scams and all these different things. And he has a whole my ultimate goal is to somehow coincide, bump into him at a con or a tech con something, and like, hey, I got a website. I do articles on hackers, and it would be cool to get an interview with him. I've been wanting to do an article on him, but I'm saving it for that moment. Now, let's see if I can get that. But even now, with me getting the job that I actually was striving for, and I'm still learning. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
trying to go out there and put myself out there, and like it's just don't ever fall out of love with learning. That's
Mm-hmm.
when you get
Don't ever.
stagnant, you get
Mm-hmm.
bored.
Don't ever fall in love with learning. I love that.
Oh, don't ever fall out of love.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew
Oh,
that.
okay. Sorry, it's
No. It's good
my
because
Bluetooth is
I typed what I said, but
okay.
I was thinking something else. Uh, I have a couple of questions that
Okay.
folks ask. How do you deal with perfectionism and the feeling of not being enough while still trying to grow in tech?
Think you have to accept the fact that you're going to fail. You're going to break things. Your first bill is not going to be perfect. Your first code is not going to be perfect. But the thing is, you got to view those things as steps to what you feel is perfect for you. Steps to get you to where that level of game. We all start down here. We all want to go up to here, level up. I think when we emphasize perfection, it's perfection is kind of boring. So if you have some imperfections, that's you. That's you. That's your flaw. That's what you created. But guess what's going to happen with that the imperfection? You learn from that. So that dent's there. I made that dent. Okay, let's go around this way. Let me try it this way. That being adaptive and understanding the fact that you're going to mess up all the time and learning from those mistakes. It's 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 kind of that simple, but it's not that simple. I understand about perfectionism, and when I was an electrician, I always wanted my pipework to be perfect. It had to
Mm-hmm.
be bent a certain way, it had to look a certain way, I had to have my signature on it. But the reality of the situation was is that all that pipe was doing was just running my wire and protecting people from it. Sure, some areas had to look really nice and clean, but just if you seen when I started bending conduit, bending pipe when I was in electrical, and how awful they were to where I got once I was at the peak of my career on that. And I would think back too, just reminisce. Wow, I probably went through I don't know how many bundles of pipe, just didn't even end it correctly. I kinked it, I did this, I did that. But it got to the point to where now I could bend pipe without even measuring it, just eyeballing it and doing these cool bends and everything else like that. And it's the same thing with code. You're gonna You're going to write everything up and it's going to look pretty, it's going to look nice. But then when you decide to compile it, to test it, anything along those lines, and it comes back with errors, I learned to love those errors. I learned to love the troubleshoot. Oh, once you learn and to love that, that's when you realize that those imperfections are what make you perfect, basically. So you got to see it in that sense. You can't let something get in the way of what you want. You got to strive for it and push through as much as you can. I guess that's yeah. That would make sense, right? I think I made sense there. I hope I
I think
made
that was
sense
beautiful. I think that was
there.
beautiful. I always say this, like you got troubleshooting is a skill, but the way you say it is like I learned to love to troubleshoot. Like, I enjoy that piece, and I think it's also very humbling to hear you're gonna fail. Just accept it. The first thing you're gonna do is not going to be the best version. Your first build may not work. Um, and to accept that and then just embrace imperfection as it is, and just recognizing that that is a part of you, and that's how you're going to grow from it, and that's a starting point. Shane, you're hiring now, as in you are an entrepreneur, you've got an LLC, you are hiring people. What do you look for when you're hiring? What qualities makes someone stand out in today's job market?
But the way the job market is now, and for me, the only person I got working with me, she's out from Tucson. Her name is Kylie. Very, very. We weren't going through the ASU program. She was just straight up a monster at hacking. She was a capture the flag master. I had to ask her to help me out on a few things here and there. We teamed up on a few of those capture the flag projects and stuff like that. But um, just the hunger of it. It's just why do you want this job? How is this job? How do you feel in 5 years if you are at this job? How's it going to make you feel? I would rather have an employee who is hungry most of the time to kind of, that's when you get the best version of somebody. When they're focused in, they're locked in, they're set up, and they know what they want and they want to go get it. So to find that hunger, it's difficult. It really is because I'm pretty sure I've met some people and I tell them what I do. They're like, no, I'm not part of that. I can't be any of that. I'm this. I'm specifically this. I'm specifically in cloud. That's it. And that's all I know how to do. So being adaptive is another thing too because I tell you what, I when I started this company and basically let me explain it to the guys on there. My company is basically a web development slash digital marketing. We build your websites and we help you with your brand. We build your brand and we do your socials. Basically, a huge marketing deal. So a lot of these websites they were wanting original pictures. They didn't want stock photos. They didn't want stock photos from Adobe or anything like that. They wanted their own. So I went out and purchased a very nice camera with something if I didn't need it, I don't go and get it. So I sat here, learn about lenses, learn about how the light works with lighting and for the pictures to come out. Just all these different things. It's a whole different beast in photography, and I had to dab in it. I had to learn in it. And on top of that, now I'm saving money for drones, and I'm going to be doing drone footages for my clients because they want pictures of their buildings and videos of everything else. So I have to train myself on how to be that photographer for right now until someone blesses me with a lot of money to fund this. That would be great. But right now, it's me. I'm learning. So to be able to survive with Sensor Gate Designs is born from grit.
Mm.
What I want is someone to be hungry to the fact that, oh, I don't know how to do that, but I'll learn it. Be adaptive. Be. Oof. When I talk about hunger, when you see it, you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's beautiful, Shane. I think that it resonates with me so much because I see it at NextWork. If you've got to be hired at NextWork, you got to show hunger, and it has to be like the yeah. So I think that's excellent advice. That's excellent, like, point on, especially like with this current job market. It's hard and things are changing so quickly that ultimately it's about, how badly do you want it? How badly are you willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, to get that to get that role? Well, to acquire the skills you don't have, to acquire the tools, um, and the capabilities that you may or may not have. So, yeah, I hunger is such a beautiful answer. I couldn't have said it better for myself. Um, I just want to wrap it up a little bit with one last question. Shane, you are always on top of things, with your articles, with your website projects, your work in the college, and then you've got your LLC. And I just want to know, how do you stay sharp and up to date in your field, in tech, in everything when things are changing so quickly? What's the secret?
Uh, that's a good one too. I just do it. There's that's the best way I can sum it up. There's no there's no secret formula. There's no I'm not drinking extra caffeine or I'm not I don't have I don't have a workout routine or I'm not eating some special food to kind of give me this to be on top of these things. It's just I just do it. I have my time on Saturdays and Sundays to do my researches and stuff, and I have my week planned out. As you can see right here is a calendar on this side, and I have two more calendars up there, and I have my week of articles and everything, subject lines, and if there's a headline that happens to fall through and it has to do with cloud, like those AWS, that stuff happening recently. That one I was trying to stay on top of and everything else, and also just kind of just I think just got to do it. And I think the reason why I do it so much is because I love it. And that's that simple. It's I enjoy it. I enjoy writing the articles to inspire. I enjoy writing articles because it might help somebody, especially people who are not technical. I do it because I love it, and I guess it's just as simple as that.
I love it. I love it. It's almost like the Nike slogan, just do it. And I
Mm,
get that because so many people just like have trouble starting. And always get that question. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to, like, where's the roadmap? Where do I start? This is so much. This is overwhelming. And sometimes the answer is
mm.
just do it. Just start somewhere. Just go.
Sometimes you just have to just clear your head of those thoughts and just do it. Just go and blindfold it if you have to. If it's something you don't like and that roadmap is not touching with you, is not clicking with you, then you don't have to finish that roadmap. You don't have to waste your
Mhm.
time on it. You can go over and try another roadmap. You know, there's so many resources that can help you, and I think a lot of people are just afraid of putting their own. I think people are more afraid of believing in themselves. Sometimes when we believe in ourselves so much that we don't want to fail. But I think what we have to understand, especially in any field, anything, you have to embrace those little failures that you have. Those failures is what teaches you. I mean, as babies, it took us how many times to fall down before we learned how to walk?
Yeah.
You know, there's so it's as simple as that. We learn by doing, we learn by failing, we learn by so many different ways. There's it's a lot of people sometimes it's just so they think it's so complex and it really isn't. You just have to do it, you know? It's crazy.
Amazing. Shane, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your positivity, your journey, your story, your struggles, and your valuable insights. I really, really, I'm so excited. I've been, I've known you for it feels like forever, but definitely early this year, and to be a part of your journey, to witness you in those cycles and just see you go up and soar is so precious. And I'm so grateful that you were willing to share this with the community. I love that when I asked you, are you comfortable sharing all the stories, the lowest of your lows, and saying that you said, yeah, I think this is needs to be shared. I don't know who it might inspire, and it should be shared. And I appreciate that. So much respect for you. I think
Thank you.
for everyone tuning in, I think Shane is a beautiful example of resilience, growth, and even unexpected opportunities, just knocking at every door that's available and not shying away from that. And I think he embodies what NextWork is all about. So I think if like as Shane is as you know inspiring us, if Shane can do this, then we can too. Is what I'd like to take away. Connect with Shane through his Inspired to Hire series and the Hacker Post, and keep chasing your journey. And no matter wherever you are, if you have any other questions, add to the chat or connect with Shane. I think I've shared his LinkedIn, and it's pretty easy. He's very accessible, very friendly, very sweet, very kind, and connect with him if there's something that he says that really resonates with you. There's a lot of love coming in from the chat. But for those who are joining in on YouTube,
Thank you guys.
wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and have a great rest of the day.